Hello, John Hand with the Pulsing Cinema. The movie of the day is, oh my god, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Steven Spielberg. A defining movie of the late 70s and early 80s. Defining movie of fantasy film, of big budget Hollywood, sci-fi fantasy film. Steven Spielberg had, established himself, as, okay, this is the man. It's his game. We're playing in it. Everybody else. I mean, it had been built up to become to be such a big film. It couldn't help to be such a big film, and he did films that were just as big. I don't know if E.T. made more money than Close Encounters. It wouldn't surprise me if it did. But the name, the emblem, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, that was, along with Star Wars, really, late 70s, early 80s science fiction cinema. A film about alien encounters, which again was in the pop culture, had been in the pop culture for a couple decades. But this was a big budget director, and it was giving it a realistic take. The alien in Close Encounters, that we see, the Carlo Rambaldi, brilliant creation. It's something special. It looks very much like the Greys and the type of realistic aliens that were being conjured up in the late 70s. The special effects by Douglas Trumbull, incredible. Douglas Trumbull went from this film to Blade Runner, and a lot of the technology used in this film, I'm sure, made its way into Blade Runner. The technology regarding shooting the special effects in 70 millimeter and all of this photographic technology, I think, went straight into to Blade Runner, and it looks beautiful. It's a film that looks beautiful, incredible. But I mean, it of course it's Spielberg, so it has that sentimentality, and it has that kind of very mainstream Disney message about a guy who's goes on the spacecraft and disappears into the stars, and who really basically leaves his family in search of something, of search of this incredible spectacle, this thing, this quasi-religious experience on Devil's Hill or Devil's Mountain, or whatever. I mean, Richard Dreyfuss, Terry Garr, great stuff. I lived so many years. I lived near in the area of the country where this was shot, because it was shot down in Mobile, Alabama, and the end of the film was shot in a gigantic aircraft hangar, which was, while it was operating, the biggest indoor set of any ever, pretty much. It was a gigantic aircraft hangar that they had, turned into a studio in order to shoot this film. And a lot of the scenes were shot in Fairhope, Alabama, and just on the Gulf Coast in Alabama, in houses that still exist there, that still pretty much look the same way. There are a lot of videos on YouTube that kind of take you through those locations. The area, the area near the train tracks where Richard Dreyfuss, his truck is stalled and the spacecraft comes after him, and that's all still there. It's changed, but I mean there still is a train tracks there, and I mean, what a film full of wonder and magic, and yeah, it is mainstream, yeah, it is big, but the technical virtuosity of Spielberg, and the way that the film just opens without any credits, and it just takes you into it, and casting someone like Francois Truffaut as Lacan, I believe that was his name in the film, right? The researcher, and it gives a feeling of authenticity and reality to this really heavy science fiction story. Though I guess to some people, the aliens that believe in aliens, that that they really exist. I think in later years, Spielberg has kind of changed his story. I think while he was making Close Encounters, he had more of a belief in aliens than he does now, than the the post Close Encounters, the War of the Worlds era Spielberg, I think, has a different vision, a different view of the extraterrestrial life and what have you, you know. But I think there was deep belief, amongst Spielberg and his advisors and everything during the time period of Close Encounters. Close Encounters had an interesting production history because, it started out, it was going to be co-written by Paul Schrader. And then Paul Schrader backed out when he realized that it wasn't the type of movie. Spielberg wasn't going to make the type of movie that he wanted to make. And it was a painful break. I think Paul Schrader, really had some really heavy ideas about the film, which was going to be way totally different. But I think some people have said that some of the DNA of some of the elements of Schrader's early drafts made it into the film. Though I don't know. There's a Mark Cousins documentary or interview with Paul Schrader where he kind of talks about it. He briefly glances over the film, and he doesn't want to. He doesn't like talking about it. Apparently, I don't know if I haven't done a lot of research on it, but I haven't had a lot. I haven't had a lot of success finding out Paul Schrader's opinions on Close Encounters. So it started there. So it's serious sci-fi, but then it has the specter of the Spielberg touch, the wonder and the magic and the stuff that he brings into it, the whole scenes with the children and that whole Melinda Dillon, another great performer, was in the film. So again, such a large film, I can't even really talk about it all. I mean, I just look at it and wonder. Close Encounters, man, great film.